call this meeting to order. Determine there's a quorum present. We have Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. Commissioner Nettleton, if you please lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Approving the minutes, I didn't get in. We didn't get in. We're good. Citizens' comments. We have one. Anna Rakowski Smith, Texas Humane Legislative Network. And I think we've got two other individuals that are waiting on Zoom to speak. Ms. Smith, did you want to speak?
Yes, just briefly. As you know, in item 17, y'all are discussing the incident that happened at the fairgrounds, which was what we
Can we
consider.
go, I'm sorry, can we go to that item? That way we want to talk to
Oh, yeah,
We're going to go to item 17, discussion of possible action on individuals that were around the incident at the fairgrounds involving the horse and possible removal of the individuals. Ms. Smith?
Thank you. I had spoken to both Commissioner Wardlaw and the sheriff. The sheriff indicates that he's received phone calls from throughout the country. The same is true of THLN. THNL is Texas Humane Legislative Network, and what they do, I'm an ambassador with them and have been for a few years, and what we do is we promote laws that are for the protection, safety of animals against animal cruelty. And this issue came before them, and so they wanted to offer assistance to the county in terms of training and education. I think one of the things that's most troubling is that when you see the video for the first time, it's just shocking that anybody would do that. But what's more shocking is that this man is very methodical, and he's talking to the horse. And there's the woman that's videotaping says, "Don't you think he's had enough?" And he doesn't stop at all. He just keeps going and going. So that suggests that this man, this is what he thinks is normal training. And so this would lie more in the area of education, that we need to, train people, let people know that this is not proper education. And then in terms of the sheriff, the conversations we had, he welcomes any kind of training for specialized cases like that. He's met before with Stacy, and they're very good at giving the county and the city's resources to do their animal cruelty investigations, which may be like experts. You can send somebody to do the necropsy for the animals, or teach the deputies or police officers a specific way to train for a case, to investigate a case. And one of the things that Commissioner Wardlaw and I talked about was having cameras installed, and that's something that Shelby will talk about too, in the incident where cameras in a dumping ground where they dumped animals. It was very successful in stopping that dumping of animals. So who you're gonna be listening today from Stacy Sutton Kirby, who's the executive director, and Shelby Babosky, who's pretty much the legal the lawyer that advises us. And Howard Fletcher had mentioned that he might want to talk too. So Howard Fletcher is also involved in this. I thank you for your attention.
Which one of y'all want to go first?
This is Shelby, and I'm happy to.
Okay, go ahead. You got the floor, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good morning, commissioners. I really appreciate you allowing me the time to speak with you this morning. My name is Shelby Babosky. I'm the executive director of the Texas Humane Legislation Network. We are a 45-year-old nonprofit, and our mission is to promote the humane treatment of animals through legislation, education, and advocacy. I'm also an attorney, and I teach animal law, wildlife law up here where I reside in Dallas, although we are a statewide organization. We have a 1-800 helpline as well as an email where Texas citizens can ask for our help on such items like animal cruelty. And sometimes we look through our records and it indicated we've had about 18 calls from your community over the last 14 months or so. And so the most recent cases through the videos and eyewitness accounts are, as you all know, disturbing, and particularly because they're happening out in the open So I'm here to respectfully ask the commissioners to take these acts of animal cruelty seriously, and hopefully we can create a partnership with your law enforcement officials and animal control officers to train them for these incidents when they occur. In 1997, we helped pass the first animal cruelty law in Texas, and we've been able to strengthen it in 2007 and 2017 to ensure that animal cruelty is punished to the fullest extent. Because we believe that addressing these most serious offenses against animals, usually involving torture or severe neglect, are truly essential to ensuring public safety in the communities in which we live. We have many elected officials ask our organization, well, why should we take animal cruelty seriously? There is a well-established link and dynamic connection between animal abuse and interpersonal violence. Animal cruelty crimes can identify people involved in other crimes. It exposes family violence, and it's usually an indicator that our children are at risk to themselves and others. We know that all serial killers abused animals. Usually a mass shooting is followed by a public account of warning signs. So this means that the killer had months or years before the attack of hurting animals. And it's very important to watch. The Sutherland Springs shooter had a history of animal cruelty. The Midland shooter also had a history of animal cruelty. And as a result of this, in 2016, the FBI, who used to file animal abuse crimes under the label other in their reporting system, now has added an animal cruelty offense category because they believe that early identification through a tracking system has helped prevent future crimes. And not until Texas County started forming these animal cruelty units and started tracking data did we all understand the full extent of the crimes happening. And just as an example, when Dallas formed its animal cruelty unit in 2012, there were over 2,500 cases of animal cruelty that were reported that first year. So now Dallas, El Paso, Harris County, and many others are forming these units because they understand the importance of collecting this data. We all know that investigating animal cruelty can lead to other intersections of crime, whether it's dog fighting or cockfighting. When you do these investigations, it makes it worth the law enforcement officer's time. And the level of organization and other wrongdoing can include illegal gambling, prostitution, drugs, guns, and all these other offenses. Please understand, we do not fault any community when animal cruelty happens there. When your law enforcement officers leave basic training, they are not taught any type of Texas or animal cruelty laws. So they don't understand them because they've never been taught, and there really is a void in our training. And shelters right now throughout Texas, and I'm talking about animal shelters and animal control officers, they are incredibly challenged and tasked and struggling because a lot of shelter employees are leaving the profession, adoptions are drying up, and we're in the middle still of COVID and puppy and kitten season. So understand that we're here to offer help if you'd like it. We'd like to help your law enforcement officers proactively move forward in getting any training they need, because we understand that animal cruelty can obviously be part of a larger nexus of crimes. And I will just end quickly with this. Animal cruelty is more than just a legal issue. It's truly a community issue. And we have seen in Texas communities that if you improve the animal welfare in a community, you improve public safety for everyone. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. There's another lady on the screen, ma'am. Did you want to speak?
Good morning. Thank you, Commissioners. I'll just very briefly say I'm Stacy Sutton Kirby, Director of Government Relations for the Texas Humane Legislation Network. Everything that our Executive Director, Shelby Babowski, just explained to you about that intersection between animal cruelty and interpersonal violence, and then greater violence in the community at wide. Obviously, there are decades of research to support that. When it comes to our role, again, we are here to offer our support, to facilitate trainings, and to get people into the same room. We recognize that each community is different, and the issues you are facing there are different than some other places where we have brought folks into the room, but we're here for you. We will shoulder the task of making that happen, and we appreciate the opportunity to get into a partnership or collaboration with you, particularly in light of the extreme cases that were recently brought to our attention. That's all. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Councilman.
Jerry? You said council first, and then we'll go to Commissioner Ward.
Have there been charges filed on these individuals? All of them, or just one of them?
My understanding is that the DA is working in these cases. So that would be a
But all three?
one.
One. The other two, is there any action that can be taken?
Our office has not received anything from the sheriff's office yet, but I know that there is one case pending.
What we've talked about, and just so, if you'll give us a minute. Yeah. The incident occurred, I think, on Monday.
Yes.
Right, and then on Wednesday, this one was picked up.
You just picked up.
Incident occurred on Monday. They did an investigation. The minute that the lady called, for animal control in the sheriff's office, they did respond immediately. They looked at the horse and everything, and then, basically did an investigation, and then started looking for the individual and the horse. The horse was removed Monday night, if I'm not mistaken, from the fairgrounds by the owner or somebody, because they had to go pick him up in Eagle Pass.
Yes.
So they picked up the individual and the horse in Eagle Pass on Wednesday. At the minute the horse was brought back, veterinarian was already on call. So when he came into the fairgrounds, the veterinarian was already there. One of the things that one of the comments while we were there was that when the horse was looked at on Monday, one of the things that he didn't have, without opening it, just another can of worms, he did not have a gash in front of his forehead that he did have on Wednesday. The guy said he tried to load it in the trailer, and this is just hearsay, but that loading in the trailer, evidently the horse got hurt, but that was probably the one mark that was on him that was not on him on Monday, right after the incident. When you look at the horse has several scars around his back, right leg, old scars. When I looked at him, and again, I'm not a vet, but I couldn't find anything on him where you could say that he had been beaten on Monday, but you could tell that he had several old scars on him.
Is this individual, did he have a lease at the fairgrounds?
My understanding is that the man that owned the horse does not have a lease at the fairgrounds. I called this morning. There's three people in the video. Three people in the video. The guy beating the hell out of the horse, which is the owner. There's another skinny guy and another guy. The other two guys evidently are, I called this morning to check and see if they have leases or something at the fairgrounds. One of them's a trainer, one of them does the riding. When you asked a little while ago, Commissioner Nettleton, what are we going to do? I think we should have all three of them removed from the fairgrounds. If possible, have criminal trespasses charges filed against all three of them, and not allow any of those three ever to have horses at the fairgrounds or allowed back on the fairgrounds.
How did they get on the fairgrounds to start with if they didn't have a lease? What were you doing there?
I think we'll have to go back and look, but I think the one that is the trainer is what I'm hearing. I think he has horses there. Whether or not this horse here already had a stall that was paid for, I don't know. I think we need to, do some more legwork, but I would really hope that we would take action today that would not allow any one of those three to have horses or allowed back at the fairgrounds.
Just to clarify the record, Judge, we can't arrest them for criminal trespass. At this point, we have to issue a warning first.
Okay.
And if they violate that warning, then they will be subject.
So just, like you said, to clarify, warnings. Okay.
And we can't file on them for animal abuse, even though they were just standing there watching.
Like I said, we've not seen an investigation yet. I'm sure the sheriff's office is looking into all of those different angles.
Correct, Commissioner Nelson. We have, like the judge said, the subject was arrested. There was a warrant for it. We got a warrant for him. He was arrested. He has made bond. The horse was seized at the same time we arrested him, and then we seized the horse. We've already talked to the other two individuals, and it's father and son, by the way. And the father's given us a statement. He's complying with us. The other one, at this moment, pretty much says that he didn't see anything. So the investigation is continuing. The other two that are in the video, they got some answers.
And the additional horses that this individual has?
The individual horses, I do believe that they were saying that he has about 13 more. We did go to Maverick County.
Okay, the question, just to be clear, the owner, the guy that was beating the horse, has 13 more horses in Eagle Pass.
Yes,
So
Maverick
if
County.
you're asking a question about horses.
Yeah, no, I mean, he owns horses.
Yes, sir.
Additional horses. And what happens to them?
Well, right now, we're working with the Texas Racing Commission, and we're also working with an investigator out of New Mexico. Why are they important? Because they're looking at the other horses and his license. Apparently, he's a licensed breeder, and he also pretty much has racing license, and they're taking care of that part. We're going to be taking care of the criminal part, but matter of fact, they have continued being in contact with my animal control deputy, just yesterday. The investigator from New Mexico made contact with him and said anything else that we needed. So we're moving along with that. We're waiting for some supplemental reports from Maverick County, putting the case together, and then we're going to revisit the case with the district attorney. And if she deems it necessary for the other two are just as responsible as him, then we'll get warrants for them as well.
Well, I think they're just as responsible, but I'm also concerned about the additional horses this individual owns.
Yes, and photographs were taken of the other horses, and the photographs will be shared with the investigators to see. I asked the animal control deputy if he saw any of the other horses injured, malnourished, anything like that. He said, no, he did not. And I said, well, and the individual kept saying, well, the horse gets hurt while they're transported in the trailer. We had no problems transporting that horse over here. So get the little bits and pieces that we're looking at, sir.
And I've broke horses pretty much all my life, and I've never seen anything like that video in my entire life.
Correct, sir.
It was completely disturbing and uncalled for. And I don't think this individual should even own a horse, but that's just my personal opinion. But I agree with the judge. They should be banned from the facility completely, but I mean, it's a decision the court will get to make. But I just want to make sure this thing doesn't get lost somewhere and that the other individuals are held accountable as well as this individual is held accountable. This is no different than watching an individual beat somebody up and not do nothing about it. It's the same principle. And even worse so, because this horse couldn't defend itself.
Yes.
So hopefully the other two individuals, something will be done criminally, because I consider it criminal, but we will see how that investigation goes.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Ward, wants to add something?
Yes, yes, Judge. I'm a horseman. I'm a lifetime rancher in Alberta. I've never seen a horse abused like this. And at the fairgrounds, I don't know if this ever happened before. It could have happened. We would have not known this happened if it hadn't been for the video. Nobody would have known about this. We need, like Ms. Anna says, we need surveillance out there. We need law enforcement out there. We need, not just for the animals, for the the alcohol. Lots of fuss and fighting goes on out there. We need to, like the judge says, I support what he said, we need to make an example of these violators, these people that do this stuff. The only animal abuse that we have noticed out there is neglect. Neglect, that's a horrible thing. When they lock a horse in a stall and don't feed it or water it, that comes close to the level of what we just saw in this video. And that's what I want to put some teeth in on neglect of all kinds. We've been trying to take care of it in-house up there. We take those animals away and make them, put them back on feed, but we don't go legal. We need to go legal on all of this abuse. And, that's what I think. I've got nothing else to say.
Hey, Mike?
You have anything else? Real quick. Action from the court, to remove these individuals and make sure that they're horses. I mean, what do you need from us, or what do we need, what can we do?
Well, these individuals, as I understand, none of them have any legal right to be here. They're not tenants of the county, so it's really just a matter of the sheriff's office issuing the
So
it doesn't take, a motion wouldn't be in
I
order?
can go ahead and right after this, take care
The
of
court
that.
can certainly issue an order as well, but from a legal standpoint, from a criminal legal standpoint, the criminal trespass warning would have to be served on the individuals.
I'll go ahead and make the motion that we order the sheriff's office to file a criminal trespassing warning against these three individuals, and that they be banned from the fairgrounds permanently. That's my motion.
I'll second that motion with emphasis.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. Before we take this vote, is there anything else that anybody wants to add or anything, or are we okay with this?
Your Honor, just to add, my conversation with Commissioner Wardlaw was he's talking about cameras, and Ms. Lebowski has access to gaming cameras and a plan to get those in place if we need them, so we can follow up with her if that's what you still want to do.
Did you get 37?
My bigger concern is all the other issues that go on out there. This is one of many problems that we have. I guess we have those in the agenda. It has become a huge problem for this county with this type of stuff, and drinking and drugs and everything else at the fairgrounds. It has got completely out of control. It is inexcusable considering that the individuals that utilize that facility pay little to no money to it. They run businesses out of there and everything else. We are one of the few counties left in the state of Texas that allow animals to be housed in the fairgrounds without an event going on. I can tell you my personal opinion is that everything out there should be gone, and that no animal should be on that fairground unless there is an event. That is what I think needs to happen. I know it's not going to happen, but that's what needs to happen. But we have this motion, and we'll address that, and then I'll consider making a second motion.
Anybody else? No good? Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Nettleton, second by Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries, 5-0 vote.
Your Honor, I want to thank the board for taking the time to listen to just an additional piece of information. Ms. Lebowski was very instrumental in helping us write our animal control ordinance in addition to the city of Del Rio. So they've been in the community for a while, and so they're here to help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item 6, approving monthly reports from elected officials.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? 5-0 vote. Approving bills for payment.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? 5-0 vote. Motion carries. Item 8, discussion possible action to approve the auditor's report. Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries, 5-0 vote. Item 9, discussion possible action on a budget adjustment for $969.03 from Sheriff's Operating Sheriff's Capital Outlay for Xerox VersaLink printer.
Move. Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 10, discussion possible action on overages payout of unused vacation hours of December 31st, 2021 for Valverde County Personnel Policy, Section 209, to be paid out of revenue loss funds received through the American Rescue Plan Act in place of funds from the general fund as prior year. Last year, Valverde County processed the payout of overage vacation hours for year 2020 at the beginning of February 2021, but was not able to do that this year. Jesus Christ. With implementation of the ARPA final rules, new provisions effective April 1st, 2022, Valverde County is able to use ARPA recovery funds to replace lost revenue and use the funds for general government services. Without the use of the revenue loss funds, the overages payout of unused vacation hours will not be possible.
You writing a book?
Good morning, distinguished members of the court.
Is this the way you want everyone to do it?
We're gonna have to hire you somebody to read them.
Yes, we did. We feel that we covered that adequately.
How much money are we talking about?
On the spread that was in your packets, I believe around $52,000.
How much?
52?
And this is
51,374.
this is becoming a annual deal, that people are not taking vacation and we're paying it out. I guess they figured that out by now.
Well, yes, that is true, or they're being allowed to take their vacation, and then we just come back to the court and we pay them time and a half when we have stuff to do, because they took vacation. So,
I'll make a motion to pay it out of Harper and get it off, but we need to come up with something to do.
we do, you do have budget session coming up.
Second that.
We do have about 17 days vacation. We are in 37.5 hours a week. Maybe we got the CPI coming in pretty hot. Raises should be up there. Maybe this would be the opportunity to square that up to move into 40. Along with that, is a pay increase. If you're going to keep pace, which
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 11, discussion possible action to approve treasurer's report. This is the good one.
Motion to approve. How are we doing on our interest is still like
It's still,
horrible?
I'm surprised it hasn't bounced back a little bit.
Yeah.
I have a treasurer's conference next week, and I'll be talking to different,
Should come up a little bit, they're raising rates, so.
we're hoping it does. But I'll be talking with them.
Mr. Alon,
Yes, sir.
where are we investing all this money, or where do we have it?
It's all held up in, pool, in our,
Textbook?
Textbook or text class.
text class.
Okay.
Yeah, and there for a while, we had some of it even at Bank and Trust because they were paying us a little bit more there for a while, and then that sort of went away. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Discussion matters relating to COVID. Our numbers are pretty steady. We will need to look at the next meeting. We'll have an item on for our local health authority, and I'll get with y'all before that happens, but we will, have to have something for our local health authority to reappoint or to figure out which way we're running.
So are you hard to have one?
If we're gonna be getting some of the reports from the state and from the federal government, we should have to. But I'll put that back on there, and then, we can have that discussion. Any other thing on COVID? No? Okay, let's move on to item 13, discussion on immigrants. We met, I think Wednesday of last week. Mayor McLaughlin and the county judge and Judge Mitchell and Uvalde were real helpful, or actually did the legwork to get the governor to come in and speak with a bunch of mayors and county judges and sheriffs in Uvalde last Wednesday. And before he rolled it out on national news about the boats in the water and the wire and We were told that was gonna happen. He asked us about buses, that he would be getting buses for us, to stage in our counties to be able to move them to Washington. NIMKID, also was down here on Friday, met with him and met with, the lady Tiffany from the NGO, John Sheedy, city manager, and their emergency management coordinator, Roland, and myself, about buses. At that point, what we were told was they would provide buses. We were going to have to, I guess, help get these people on the bus and everything. And on Friday when we discussed it, and then even on Saturday and Sunday on the phone with John Sheedy, if they were going to provide buses, I was a little bit scared about us doing any of the legwork in case we get sued. In case one of these individuals were signing stuff in English and Spanish and they don't speak English and Spanish, and all of a sudden he didn't want to end up in Washington. So I thought it would be wise not to participate. The buses are a good idea if we're not the ones helping hold their hand to get them on the bus. So visiting with NIMKID on Saturday, he said that they would put somebody here to help facilitate the paperwork. There were buses already staged in Del Rio on Friday. Yesterday, the number that I've got that actually got on the bus, it'll hold, bus will hold 40. We asked what was the magic number for the bus to get gone. They said 20, and yesterday, out of 261 individuals released into our county, 24. Everybody looks like they got gone, too. There was nobody at Stripes last night and everything. But out of the 261 that were released, 24 did get on a bus that would be going to, my understanding, its final destination is Washington, D.C., but they were also looking at picking some up along the way to try to fill the other 16 seats.
And that's all voluntary?
It's all voluntary. When we looked at this in 2019, commissioners, we had our meeting at the Civic Center when all this first started, and then we had people wanting to donate funds in order to get these people to Washington. I got several phone calls at that time that unless we got a letter, it was called kidnapping. They would sue me, so that was a bad idea. But this one here, there's a letter in English and in Spanish that they signed voluntarily going up there. Roland had talked to a couple of people that were getting on the bus. One of them was going to New York. So he said, well, a couple of them are going to New York, a couple of them to Pennsylvania. So they thought, well, it's just easier. I don't have to pay for a ticket. I go to Washington and get a ticket in Washington to go to New York or whatever. So a high percentage, what I was told before Friday was that a very high percentage of these individuals wanted to be in Maine and in Florida. So 24 out of 261, 9% of the ones that they got a hold of yesterday, which was higher than what I thought was what it was going to be. It does scare me though that now if you have people wanting to go that way, now they know that you can come to Del Rio and we're going to get you on the bus. So it's sort of good and bad. If we have an overflow, this is what I think it was supposed to sort of handle, was the overflow. We'll wait and see. I mean, visited with John Sheedy on Sunday, and they said they were going to move forward with the bus. My opinion is if the city's already moving forward with the bus, I don't think the county needs to take any action. You get too many spoons in the coffee, then you can't stir the damn thing. So I think you just go ahead and let them play with it.
My bigger concern is they figure out they're getting a free ride, they're going to start showing up in Del Rio. That's my bigger concern.
I will tell you the conversation that we had on Friday with Tiffany from the NGO and everybody else. That was brought up. You sort of, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But they were willing to offer it. They had some buses staged in Eagle Pass also. I don't know how many people from Eagle Pass were transported. Mayor McLaughlin on Friday had called me and asked me and told me that basically if we needed a bus, they had 2 buses in Uvalde also. And I don't think on Friday they had anybody that was going to get on it. The Terrell County was at the meeting, Terrell County, well, a bunch of different counties, but they're the ones that spoke, and they also said that they had seen an increase, and since Wednesday to now, there's been a decrease of how many people have actually been dropped off in like Uvalde and Terrell County and stuff like that.
Did Title 42 actually go away?
It'll go away May 23rd.
They extended it.
There is a bipartisan push to keep it in place. But again, we have buses here, and if we need more buses, the governor's willing to send us more buses. Like I told John Sheedy on Sunday, I just didn't want to end up with a bucket full of bills for doing this or end up getting sued. So if the state's going to put somebody down there to fill out the paperwork, then yeah, let them take care of it. And we'll send Governor Abbott and them kid and all of them a big thank you letter. As long as we don't have to be the one sitting on the table getting these people that don't speak Spanish to sign something in Spanish that they're going to Washington, D.C. So.
Judge, can we offer an incentive to get all 261 of them on the bus?
All 261 yesterday left, but 24 of them got on the bus to Washington. All 261 yesterday left. I would hate to think that we would begin to pay people. Commissioner Nettleton just said it. I think that if we begin to help, we will have more. It's sort of build it and they will come type deal. So if we begin to offer, and like I said, the last meeting we had, one of the ladies that I spoke to at HEB that was holding up a sign that basically had stole her money and she was looking for money. I asked her how come she was in Del Rio. I mean, what caused her to be here? And she said that basically on her phone that they were told that we were extremely friendly, and that's one of the reasons that she ended up in Valverde County in Delta, Texas.
But if we sent all 261 to Washington, it wouldn't take a week or two, would it?
If they don't want to be in Washington, and as far as offering incentives to get them to Washington, I think we would probably be, yeah.
You put yourself in the line of fire.
And then that was one of the reasons on the buses from the governor. We really appreciate what he's trying to do, but I think the more hands-off we can be, then our liability to be sued, especially, I mean, and it's going to come. I mean, there's going to be one of them going to raise his hand. Heck, I didn't want to be here. I don't know what I signed. So let it, if our name's not on that paper or our name's not one of the ones that help the guy get on the bus, maybe that'll help us stay out of a lawsuit. Any other discussion on immigrants? None?
No.
Where did that?
In the back.
Okay. Y'all want to go look and then give us a chance to stretch our legs? I still got a headache from item 17. Item 17 was pretty intense. And you really can't say everything that you wanted to say and not have them get mad because you're cussing. If y'all don't mind, we're going to go look at a fire truck. If y'all want to come out and take a picture with us, y'all come on out. It's item 14, presentation and review of the new fire truck. This is something that this court bought the other day, bought the truck, and then not with the help, the actual firemen and the volunteer firemen took the bed off the old truck that is now being auctioned because the front end's all wore out. Took the bed, basically cut some fenders so it would fit, repainted the bed, put it back on, put the lights, put everything. It's really impressive to go from a cabin chassis to what y'all are fixing to see out back. So if y'all want to walk with us or stay here, it don't matter. This will give us a chance to take a little break and walk outside and then come back. And y'all are more than welcome for a picture, please. Are y'all okay with that?
Yes. How long do they last?
What?
Fire trucks?
Some of them things are 25 years old, maybe or something. And when they drive them, We have 2 containers already.
Let me have Elizabeth.
But Joey's been on it.
Let me have Elizabeth. I'll have Elizabeth.
Okay, go forward, please.
Yeah, we
Keep me awake,
would rather have them and not use them than need them and not have them.
keep me awake, Judge.
Okay. Court will now come back into session. We went outside and looked at the truck, fire truck that this court had bought. We're back in session. Item 15, discussion of possible action on using hot tax funds for the Del Rio Little League for district tournament. We've done this several times in the past,
How much do they want?
$3,800.
Motion to
Judge,
approve.
has that decided how much is,
This is what they're asking for, so we actually try to accommodate them. I will tell you that the last couple of years well, every year that we've given them, we've actually got money back that they didn't use. They asked for $3,800, and then if they don't use it and there's money left over, they give us a check back.
well, is that in all instances, whatever somebody asks for is what we give them?
No. We try to accommodate them, but it's up to the court on what we give them. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
I'll second that, Judge.
Okay, have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye, anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 16, discussion possible action to approve San Felipe Consolidated Independent School District to borrow a backhoe beginning May 23rd through June 24th. They're asking if we have a backhoe at that time that somebody could lend them the backhoe. So I don't know if we need to do an MOU or we would actually consider, them doing it.
I think if we're gonna do it, we have to do it with an MOU, Judge.
Okay.
I don't have a backhoe, so.
Anybody have that?
Baker's Reynolds got one.
That'd be for a month, Judge. I don't know if any of the other commissioners, I'd be willing to let them borrow for a couple of weeks, then maybe.
Well, I think if we do an MOU and if a couple of weeks would be better than having to rent a tractor back.
Okay.
So we can, if we have a motion to create an MOU with whatever time we can actually let them use it.
If we can have the school district give us the details,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize the creation of an MOU and bring it to the court.
That'll work.
I've got a real quick question. I thought the school district had a backhoe.
They don't have a backhoe.
They
I think
don't?
the one they had broke. I think it's broke down right now.
Now they want to break ours?
that's what the MOU is for.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. We've already taken care of item 17. Item 18 and 19, if y'all don't mind, we'll table both of them and then we'll bring them back after executive session.
Motion to table.
Second.
I have a motion to table item 18 and item 19, by Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 vote. Discussion possible action to approve Brown Plaza to use the county stage and labor for it setup. Event will take place May 5th and 6th at the Brown Plaza. We've done this in the past also.
Motion to approve, Judge.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner, Flores, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Anybody against? 5-0 vote. Motion carries. Discussion possible action to approve San Felipe Consolidated Independent School District Education Foundation the use of the 4-H barn located at the fairgrounds for the Border Shrimp Boil fundraiser on May 14th, 2022.
Move.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action on a budget adjustment to move the remaining balance from capital expenditures under the sheriff's software program to contingency. This is $144,000 we keep pulling from.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You okay with that, Matt?
No, it is. I didn't know if you guys wanted the balance, what was remaining, we're gonna put in contingency, but
Me, no.
we got it done. Sounds good. All right.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action of approval for Valverde County to enter into an agreement with AEP for service of installing 6 area lights and poles on Jesse Cardenas Parks. Agreement is at an estimate cost of $2,573.89 to come out of Precinct 1 operating budget and grant of authority for county judge to sign AEP CIA.
Second.
We should have done that when I said discussion of possible action. I have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carried. Item 24, discussion possible action or approval. Robert E. County Director.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Discussion possible action or approval.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, item 26, discussion possible action to apply for a state grant, Texas Department of Agriculture, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department for a sports facility approximately 20+ acres off of Johnson Boulevard.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 27, discussion possible action granting county judge authority to sign the contract award to PFM Financial Advisors LLC for financial.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner
Are
Flores.
they gonna kind of
All
talk
those
to
in
us
favor?
after they get their contract and kind of give us
Yes, I think we'll set up a meeting.
an update or?
With them
what
and,
we're gonna be doing?
I will tell you that them and our bond councils have both been, they want to come down and visit. They have, I think one of the things, we were with our bond council, that they said that if we needed anything, that there's not a charge for it until the actual bonds are done.
Well, I'd like them to come down, especially the financial advisor, and kind of explain to the court all the different options for financing and all the different things that are available to the court to be able to do projects. Yeah, we were forecasting. I guess they can get with Matt on the forecasting and kind of figure out, we're gonna have to look at a bond rating at some point, I'm sure.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 28, discussion possible action granting county judge authority to sign the contract awarded to Head Inc. for renovation of the airfield lighting at Laughlin. Contract has been reviewed by county attorney.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 29, discussion possible action approving
Genoptic.
Huh?
Genoptic.
That's a single source, right?
As a sole,
Yes.
as a
Motion
sole
to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 30, discussion possible action on TLG Code Chapter 2253, Public Work Performance and Payment Bonds, Subchapter B, General Requirements Liability, Section 2253.021. One of the concerns, was that, what was brought up on one of the contracts that we have right now is that it's below 100,000. So therefore, by statute, all that would be required is a payment bond.
That's how I understand.
And we're just trying to make sure that the court is okay with that, just with a payment bond. And by statute, that's all that is required. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? 5-0 vote, motion carries. Item 31, discussion possible action granting county judge authority to sign the contract awarded to Rodriguez Fencing for bid 22-02 Community Center Fence Project upon review by county attorney.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against?
Aye.
Motion carries, 3-2 vote. Item 32, discussion possible action on approval of an agreement for the Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance Grant between the Office of the Governor, Texas Military Preparedness Commission, and Dougherty County for a total amount of $864,874.52 to build AFP support, aerospace physiology at Laughlin Air Force Base, and granting authority for county judge to sign.
I just like to listen to you.
I know, that's it. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries, 5-0 vote. Item 33, discussion of possible action on approval of the agreement. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton.
Second, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez is a second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries, 5-0 vote. Discussion possible action on display airplanes at SC Ranch next to Laughlin Westgate. this is when you turn off of SL 79 going to the base, it would be on the left-hand side as soon as you come out of the base.
Are they gonna do all the work? Or?
They want us to prepare the pads.
Yes. How many, planes you
Two
got?
planes.
I have it on, Steve should have it on the screen.
Like a base pad or a concrete?
Yeah,
pad?
so, we've been meeting with the engineers at the base. Now they have opened the west gate, they just want to display 2 aircrafts. One of them is, 83 feet in diameter, the base pad. And the other one is 97 feet in diameter, the base pad. And we're looking to clearing 360 feet by 97, close to an acre. So they will require us to clear the land, and level the 2 pads. And I estimate like around 1,200 cubic yards of base, just to elevate 2 feet.
Is it a certain kind of base? Can we use the base that's out on the
No, we
roof?
can use the base that we have at the loop. And then, we will just need to build some little concrete anchors for the wings.
He's taking a while. I just want to make a motion. Or y'all
I'll
want
make
to-
a motion.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody
What
against?
do we do? We'll go out for quotes or,
Well, let's go mark it off.
Let's
And
see
then
what
we'll
it
get
is.
the commissioners to go look at it.
Yeah, we'll see what it is and see how big a job it's gonna be to do it.
Yeah, we go mark it.
okay.
Item 35, discussion possible action for approval to purchase 3 new desks for Fairgrounds' new office using capital outlay account, total $1,700.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Discussion possible, item 36, discussion possible action on the use of fields for practice time requests. There was a whole list of people that used the fields, either 60 acres and or the baseball fields on, Frontera Road. And in the past, there's not really a contract. All she's doing is putting together a schedule. So I don't know whether these actually need to come back to us because it's not a contract and they could handle it in-house.
They can have, and maybe what
Yeah, they need to just come up with a schedule.
is set that part aside
Okay.
right now.
And for everybody's information, that's on Facebook, Fairgrounds Facebook. Schedules kept up to date, and they're on there.
Okay, so a policy that they just
That they handle it
in-house.
in-house, right?
Can I get a motion?
Motion to be an in-house policy.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 37, discuss possible action for allocation of additional funds needed to repair county agent maintenance truck. Cost to replace cab mounts, $1,400.
Motion to approve out of contingency.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 38, discussion possible action on a request by George Palmer Memorial Boulevard to increase the upload. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Upload speed to a minimum of 60 Mbps. Most recently, the county upgraded the Spectrum Internet account at the fairgrounds to 600 Mbps down and 35 up. Only offers to accomplish minimum upload speeds to 60 is to go fiber account at an estimated cost of $1,500 per month and an estimated 90+ days to schedule. Additional construction costs from Spectrum may apply. Current cost of whatever.
Motion to deny.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. I'll second that.
What was the motion? I'm sorry. I missed
To
it.
deny.
I actually spoke, I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. I seconded it. I actually spoke with Bobby yesterday, and he didn't understand why they were asking for more if they were able to do it with what they had last year. So, all those in favor of the motion to deny? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote. Item 39, discussion possible action to approve the act as software for collection and authorize county judge to sign contract.
What is
What
this?
is that?
We had brought this up in August, that I would be able to leave Trademation and go to the ACT, which is the one that Ronald Rochek has with the Langberger, and they help with the collections of the hotel tax too.
Okay, but if we leave True Automation, is that gonna be a problem with the communications between y'all and the appraisal district and everybody else?
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be or it won't,
No, it shouldn't be because
right?
all the different counties have different softwares
I
and,
understand, but I don't want to go back to the system we had before where they printed it all out, brought it to y'all, and y'all keyed it all back in.
no, I understand. Yeah, I don't want to
Can
do
you
that
look at
either.
this, Rand,
Okay.
and make sure it is compatible
Okay.
before we approve it, and a cost?
And we want to look at the termination clause also.
Yes, and for true automation. I will make a motion to table and bring back, if it will be compatible with the appraisal district, what the termination contract is, and what the cost of this will be.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? 5-0 vote. Item 40, discussion possible action requesting authorization to
Speaking,
apply.
wait. Where are we at on the refunds?
We're still printing them. She had said we would do a math, and in the end, we can't. Because it takes too long for the computer to calculate. So we're still printing them.
Okay, can you
Now I
put
got
something
it.
on our next agenda and give us an update as to where we're at in that process, please? What percentage we've already refunded, kind of where we're at?
Okay.
I know we can't discuss it here because it's not related, but.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't leave. The software that we have right now is with,
True automation.
and she's the one that told us that to go this route.
Mm-hmm.
True automation?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because she was okay, so I mean, the reason I'm bringing this up right now under this item is because if we're fixing to quit them and go to somebody else, and we've not, with True Automation, we've already not been told, I'm not gonna say lied, but she misinformed us
Yes.
as to what we could do. I mean, so why would we want
Yeah,
to stay with
because,
them?
yeah, she
So I mean,
did,
I'm glad we're bringing it back and looking at this at this time.
I don't have a problem moving, I just want to make sure it's all gonna work, you know, I mean, that's the only thing, I mean, years ago, it was a nightmare. I mean, they printed everything at the appraisal district, they brought it to the tax office, y'all spent months keying it all back, I don't want to get back to
Right.
that.
right.
I still want us to have the capacity for these things to communicate, so. And it may, I don't know anything about it, so it's very possible, but, you know.
What
Okay.
system is the president using now?
True Prodigy,
True Prodigy.
and True Prodigy does not have a tax software
And they switched
from True Automation.
last
They last
year.
year,
Right.
uh-huh.
So,
We just need to make sure it all works.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to make sure it all works, that's all.
Okay,
Nobody's gonna
and
call.
another thing too is like a lot of the checks are returning. So we're just keeping them because it's gonna be more postage to send it out again, and then it returns again. We're just holding them. If
Okay, so
anybody
we
asks,
probably
we
need to
have
have
them.
a conversation as to what legally we can do. Because we need to get them their money. Okay? Thanks.
So, how many checks, what percentage of checks have been sent out?
We'll get enough.
Because of True Automation, and we're gonna change the software. Can you get us all that? And if nothing else, that way we'll know that if True Automation is actually working or did work. If we can get us the percentages and get it to all the commissioners, how many checks? If you can do that before the next meeting,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks. Item 40, discussion possible action requesting authorization to apply for and accept.
Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 vote.
Motion to table 41 till after executive session.
Okay. I have a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 vote. Item 42, discussion possible action to approve a voter road update project for Valverde County. Update voter registration records to comply and meet all new voter requirements, and I'll let you know.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I know I've had this question before, and it was more evident than anything during the March 1st election, that the fact that some of the voters
do not update their information causes more work and more delays, not just for my department, but for the tax office too, or the voter registration office.
Why is this coming from you and not the voter registrar office?
Because I have an idea, and she's in agreement. I've discussed it with her. We're gonna work on it together. It's something that happened, during election time, and of course, January 1st, the state changed all its rules about what you needed and how you needed ID requirements, the things that are required to determine whether you can vote and what kind of voting you can do, and what you're allowed to do. So, in my opinion, we need to approach this in a proactive way and not wait till we have election time and find that we have these problems, because it causes delays in processing of everything we do after that. My office relies on voter registration records in order to process every voter's ballot and application for ballots and any other means by which they use to vote. We use their information also to create the software that runs our election equipment, okay? There is a way that I think that we should start now and not worry about, when we're gonna use it. I think once you do that, and you have that opportunity to present itself, it works out in the end, and hopefully you do this once, and it's something you can continue to do. I want to bring about changes that give voters the confidence that their ballot is going to count, no matter where or which way they decide to vote. And one of those things is to address things as they're coming up, not wait till you're in the middle of an election in front of the person that's processing you for voting and you're not eligible, okay? So I think we need to educate the voters more about what they need to do on their part in order to ensure that we can process them on election day, okay? I think they need reminders about the fact that you registered to vote when you were 18 years old, and for me that was a long time ago. And I don't remember the ID information that I used when I registered. However, the state has passed new rules that says now we have to go back to whatever you used when you registered to ID you and to ensure that you are the same person.
But there should be a record of all that. I mean, no matter you registered 20, 30 years ago.
There is, sir, but I'm sorry.
Should be.
I'm sorry.
And if they don't change it, like if you register with an ID and then you get a driver's license, we still have your ID and it's not gonna match.
This is a project that I want to spearhead, okay? With the cooperation of the VR. We've discussed it. She's on board, okay? This is the plan. What I would like to do is call this project, if you want to vote, you need to identify yourself, because that's where we're at. We're trying to work with the rules that have been passed and the laws that have been passed. We can't change those, not for a while anyway. So we need to work with what has been implemented and try to meet that so that people are not kept from voting, okay? So one of those is to remind voters that their information is old and that there's nothing to prompt the voter that you need to go and change your information. DPS won't give you a driver's license. It won't renew your driver's license unless you go and you change and you get a new one. We have nothing in place like that for voters. Register, we don't see you again. And if you don't vote for 2 general elections, you get taken off, you go into a suspense mode, and then you leave that mode and you drop off. There's a process for taking people off the voter list.
Are we actually doing that? Are we purging the records?
I don't know that that's happening, but we know that the information is not being updated.
And what about, the receipt of the death certificates to remove them from the voter rolls?
Those,
We get those weekly.
she gets
And we're
those from
taking
the
those off.
cities.
And the reason I ask is that I get a CD from y'all's office and I mail out stuff and I get about 40% of it back for the individual no longer lives there, the address is incorrect, I mean, there's a whole list of problems.
And those are some of the things we want to take care of, okay? And the plan that I have come up with, and I'm asking the court to be, we need to try it, okay? And my plan is that we put a mass media out there, website, newspapers, everybody that we can get word of mouth, I don't care, and say, if you are a registered voter in Val Verde County, go update your information. The form that is used to register you can also be used to update that information. So I want to get that get those cards. She has several. I mean, they use them for voter registration already. That's not going to be a cost. And use that as an update and call it an update so that the person can continue to vote under what they have while we make the update for the information. There's got to be a transition time that the person is not kept from voting because you haven't been updated. So if we do that and get those in and get people to cooperate, and it's going to take, I realize it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of people, they work, they do whatever. If we have to be real creative about where we do this and how we do it, the idea is to get those cards back and then enter them
What do
into
you
the
need from
system.
us? What do you need from us?
What I need is support for the project itself so that we can put it into place. And then also, the only expense that we were thinking about is postage, because there's going to be people that's going to say, send me the update card because I can't go, and I'll mail it back to you. And maybe if we have to, do we have to get any more?
Postage to mail out.
So do you have a dollar amount on
No,
it?
but
Do you have dollar amounts on it?
we wanted, I would like to start with $20,000. If it, to see if it's gonna work or not. If it isn't, I'll be the first one to come back here and tell you this is not working.
Have we passed this through any type of legal as to what we're willing to send out or what we're gonna send out?
No, and the reason is that my plan only calls for the same voter registration card that the Secretary of State is currently sending out to people. That's what we get from them.
I would feel more comfortable before we took off on anything that we had.
Yeah, and all we plan to do is update like a stack, red stack on top of the card and provide it to anybody that asks for it. We're not planning on sending it out to everybody that's on the voter list.
I've got a question.
We want it to be a voluntary process for them to update their information.
Why are we not sending it to everybody?
We can.
Who does all the upgrading to the minivan app?
To the what?
To the minivan app?
Or to the van?
I don't know what the minivan is. I've heard
Well, I mean,
about
I've
it, but
got
I
it
don't
in,
know
I've got all the precinct 4 constituents that are registered to vote, age, where they live, and
Voter
when they
Action
vote.
Network, I believe, the van app.
I mean, that seems pretty accurate. You haven't seen that one?
But, okay, no, I haven't, but caution, I am required to use information that is kept by the voter registration. I cannot
I'm pretty
use
sure it comes from
information from anywhere else. Even if I know the person, I can't do it. When I start an election, my first communication is to her or her department for her to certify to me the registered voters in Val Verde County and their contact information and their IDs and everything, because that is what is used to process the voter. That's the law. I can't go pick something else just because it's faster, it's quicker, it's more up to date. The law says, the Secretary of State gives us directives as to what information you need, how it's supposed to be processed, and how it's supposed to be implemented in my office when I'm conducting an election. And it's really hard not to be able to have that information when you need it and in the way that you need it. And so if we don't fix or make an attempt to try to correct or at least give the voter the option to fix whatever information is there. We're not gonna tell them, you gotta fix your address because it's wrong if you wanna vote over here or if you wanna vote over there. That's their business. We just need to make sure we have the most current information. Because if you haven't, well, like me, if I haven't changed my information since I was 18, the VR system is key to trigger something so that when I go vote, it's gonna ask me for something. That clerk cannot process a voter if there's a message on it, if there's something on it, if it requires a statement of residence, it is built to do that. That keeps me from processing the voter just straight out and doing it. But that's why it's checks and balances. If we don't have a process in place that reminds people, especially after January 1st, when all the rules changed about what ID you can use, now they want your driver's license and your social security number. It used to be that you didn't want to give that out to anybody because it was fraud was going to be committed. Now we're putting it, they want you to put it on an application that you just mail the card back and it's open to anybody.
I agree with what you're doing, and I think we need to fix the whole thing when it comes to the voter registrar deal. There's a lot of problems in there, in my opinion, about people that do exist, don't exist, still there, not there, or who the heck knows what's going on. I guess my question would be, and me and you've had this conversation before, what is the benefit to having the voter registrar office in a separate office from the election vote?
I couldn't answer that question. I don't know what was the thinking at the time that it was decided.
Would it not make more sense to have the voter registrar office in the election vote? Well, we can move it. We have the legal right to move it. I'm just asking why we have it the way we have it.
I couldn't answer that. That was done way before my time. Yeah.
I would be more comfortable if we combine those into one department instead of separate departments trying to function separately.
Okay. What I'm looking at is not beyond December, okay? It's something we gotta take care of. We have a big election coming up in November.
Can you get with David and make sure that what you're fixing to do?
Sure.
Can we table it and bring it back?
You don't mind. But I mean, the recommendation would be get with David.
Okay.
And then try to get some options on cost, whether, you have an idea of how many in the last election were sort of messed up. We get an idea of how much we have to do for postage. And then another option is how much we have to send it out to everybody, what that would cost.
Okay.
Just give us options.
I'd be more inclined to send it to every single person you have on your list.
I'm for that.
You need to update your
Because if we can get back at least half of those.
Well, if you give us options.
We're good.
With dollar amounts.
And get with David and make sure.
What's the last date registered for the May election, new voters?
For the new voters, it was April 7th.
Yeah, it's over then?
So,
Okay.
because the election's May 7th. It's always 30 days prior to the election.
Bring it back.
Motion to table and bring back the information.
Okay.
Have a motion,
Thank you.
Commissioner Nelson, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code A 551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation, C 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property, possible action or concession thereafter, B 551.073, regarding the negotiation, contract, lease, and value of real property, and action, open session thereafter. If y'all give us the room, we'll take a little break, and then we'll come back in executive session in this room.
Back it up.
We're good. Court will come back into session. We tabled a couple items. Item 18, discussion possible action requiring insurance on any.
Judge, I'll make a motion that all animals be removed from the fairgrounds except 4-H and those during the event, and after the event, those animals must be removed.
Do I have a second? I'll second that for discussion. Could you clarify what animals you're talking about?
Any livestock at all. at the fairgrounds.
Livestock.
Any horses, cows, whatever's up there will only be allowed during an event, with the exception of the 4-H or the event.
Do you keep your second?
Yes, I will.
And that, let me amend that, that a notice be sent out to everybody that they have 30 days.
Second accept.
Commissioner Wardlaw, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Vasquez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Flores, how do you vote?
Yes.
Damn, boys. I didn't take enough gummies. I vote yes. Motion passes 4-1. Item 19, we can leave it tabled. Item 41, Human Resource Report.
I make a motion to approve everything with the exception of P, and P must comply with the statute, with the law.
I'll second that.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? 5-0 vote. Item 44, Commissioners' comments. Item 45, Judges' comments, none. Meeting's adjourned. Y'all have a great day.